Well, we have been moving through David Richo's book. It was first introduced to me by Reverend Rebecca. Amazing how these things happen. The 5 things we cannot change and the happiness we find by embracing them. And in today's topic, we're going through one of the chapters. The title is Pain is a Part of Life. Now, I know that we as religious scientists or religious science folks, or whatever you want to call us, if you're a unity person, a new thought person in any way, our primary focus is all about the fact that what we focus on, our mind, is the one mind of God, and the choices that we make in our mind, in our thoughts, produce the effects of our life. That's what we tout. That's what we teach time and time and time again. That the power of our mind is just critical. To be aware of it, to be aware of what you're thinking, to be aware that if you're thinking something that you want, what a concept. Let's do that. Let's think about what we want, not about what we don't want. That is the message. Time and time and time again. Our mantra is, all is well. All is well. Sometimes people have told us that our philosophy and our way of teaching, our way of life is Pollyanna. It's not in real world. You're pie in the sky. And yes, all is well. And at the same time, in our humanness, sometimes we say, really? All is well? Then why am I going through hell? All is in divine order. Absolutely in divine order. Can we see it? Can we experience it at every single moment? Nope. Not really. When I have a friend of mine that I used to work with, and when we'd be going through stuff, whatever, and she goes, "Gosh, what's going on? Everything's gone to hell in a handbasket." I never understood that phrase, but I always could understand what the gist of it was. When we get into those modes at times, when life is just one thing after another, after another, after another. Have you ever been on one of those cycles? I know one or two that have been sharing with me. Can you believe it? This happened, and then this happened, and then this happened. And it's interesting, though, that we have to literally, truly have to acknowledge that pain is a part of life. And it happens in nature. Look at nature. I believe that this experience of the earth plane is contrast. There's light and there's dark. And it's beautiful. Did you have that beautiful rain? Yesterday was beautiful, right? And it's gorgeous, just lovely. And sometimes you get too much rain. What happens? Ask the people in Houston. It floods. So there's all sorts of dynamics that we experience in this lifetime. And it's like the roller coaster ride. It's fun going up, and guess what, though? It's going to come down, too. And that's the way this life is. It's got its ups and its downs. And so our experience on earth is a contrast. It has light and it has dark. The enlightenment that we are all searching for has a shadow to it. Richo puts it this way: since nature partakes of consciousness, it too has a shadow side. It takes the forms of earthquakes, floods, volcanic eruptions, hurricanes, tornadoes, tsunamis, and so forth. Nature is not just flowers and bunnies. It contains some unpleasant and highly destructive elements. To love nature does not mean having to enjoy all of its vicissitudes and moods, but it does mean honoring all the seasons and possibilities. What form does the honoring take? It is the yes of simply accepting the painful or unappealing aspects of the natural world and the necessity. This is befriending the dark rather than fearing or hating it. To be enlightened is to see the light in the dark, another combination of opposites. To accept reality as integrated, containing all opposites and reconciling them, is to be free of the shackles of fear and desire. This is how psychological sanity and clarity can be occasions for awakenings. So we all know that this life process has seasons to it. We have a newness, we have a fullness, we have a harvesting, and then we have a repose. We hear it in our drumming circles every Tuesday night with the Native Americans knowing about the seasons. I mean, the wind, what do you call it? Directions. I got it. Well, it is seasons. The directions and the seasons, they correlate in their philosophy and in their knowing. And it's wonderful to be reminded of that in everything there is a season for it. And it will come, and it will experience, and it will go. And that's the way it is. It does have its bright side, and it has its dark side. And this is the way that many of us recognize in life. We have to die to something in order to be able to be available for something new. I mean, in a couple weeks, Easter is coming. And that's the whole message of Easter, is that, Jesus had to experience that cross. He had to die on that cross to a life that he was experiencing in order to be available for the new life. All of us have our crosses that we bear, that we go through. It's part of this existence. So Rico was comparing us to nature, though. He says, our purpose is not to be like nature, which simply observes her seasons and passes through them, however dark, without debate. We imitate her letting go, but not her apparent stoicism. Our tears are precious, necessary, and part of what makes us such enduring creatures. So we go through this life experience, and we'll shed a tear at times. That emotion that we have is something that supports us, that gives us this experience, that gives us expression. You know me, if I'm going to cry, I'll cry. It is sometimes hard to talk through crying, though, I have to say that. So one of the things that Rico talks about, and I just love, life is just, when you're open to synchronicity, it just happens, doesn't it? It's just amazing. So in my talk here this morning, I'm going to tell you that one of the practices that he suggests is called mindfulness. Dina's eyes sparkled because she teaches our mindful class. Mindfulness means being present in the moment, at the moment, every moment. It's living now. It's letting go of that ego sense of trying to control, of trying to manipulate, of trying to anticipate, or trying to remember, and it's just being here and now. And wouldn't you know it, as someone walked through the door this morning, they said, look what I have for you. Where did I put it? Here. She handed me this little piece of paper that she just made up, and it says, think about how to be mindful. Don't think about the experience. Even if you are afraid, just go for it. Life is giving us signals and messages every moment, confirming to just be present now. So we have to remember that that's an important part of life. When we are sitting with another person, part of life is about relationship. As we are one, We're not isolated on a desert island. We are here to connect with others. And when others are sharing with us their story, their event, their pain, whatever it is, how do we respond? How do we react? Many times, our ego mind goes right into fixing it. Let me give you some advice. This is what you can do. Now, I know, I really maybe shouldn't say this, but I think that a lot of times that's kind of a male thing, isn't it? I think that the male energy, male energy a lot of times just wants to fix it. Just let me do it. You don't need to tell the whole story. This is what we're going to do. Shut up and let's get it done. And yet, many times that's not what the person really wants. What they really want is to be heard. They really just want a listening ear. And to be mindful of that, to be present with that person, and to acknowledge, yes, I understand. Yes, I've been there. And to me, what comes up in that response is to remember that this too shall pass. It didn't come to stay. I was flipping through one of my Mark Nepo books, and he addresses this phenomenon that of the cresting of the ebbs and the tides and the flows of life. And he said, likewise, whatever we experience, we must learn to distinguish between what is truly painful and what is just uncomfortable. What is just a sensation and what are the growth pains of change. Physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, we each need to learn how to see the difference between the sensations of suffering and the sensations of growing. The awareness can help us endure the unavoidable pains of living and not push off on what will actually help us grow. Disruptive as it is, the bump and poke we experience at the hands of time unfolding isn't always pain, but the stretch marks of how we expand, deepen into our time on earth. Don't you love it? Especially many of the women here who have had childbirth. So these experiences that we have, instead of just going into the woe, sorrowful, suffering attitude about it, recognize that I'm developing my stretch marks. I am growing through this. I am looking to see what is the opportunity for me here. If it weren't an opportunity for me, it wouldn't be here. There is something in it here for me. And to know that this too shall pass, especially if I don't concentrate on it. I have a friend of mine that says, if you're going through hell, don't pitch a tent. Mine is, if you're going through hell, don't stop and take pictures and then share them with everybody, I was reading my daily word. Now I'm doing 5 different things I read in the morning. It used to be just daily word and science of mind. Now it's a Lenten season, so I've got a Lenten one going. Then in the daily word, science of mind, and then there's Rebecca, I just can't believe you're here. I've got Eileen Cady. I've got her book. When Reverend Rebecca was sending out the her prosperity, I don't get those anymore. Are you still doing that, or did it stop?
No, after about 12 years, it seemed like
At 12 years, it was time to move on. Okay. But she sent out these daily things on prosperity, and there was always one of these readings in there. And so Eileen Cady, I wanted to share this one with you this morning. I think it's 13. Yes. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. A snake cannot grow without A snake cannot grow without shedding its old skin. A baby chick cannot emerge from its shell without cracking it open. A baby cannot be born without emerging from its mother's womb. These natural processes have to come about to bring change. Step by step, they take place, and nothing can stop them. If the baby chick does not have the strength to burst out of its shell, it will die. There is a right time for everything. You can try to prevent changes taking place because you feel safe and secure where you are and would rather stay in the confines of that which you know rather than move out into the unknown, but in those confines you will suffocate and die. Try to understand and accept the need to change with everything that is taking place in this time. Lift up your heart and give thanks for these changes and become part of them. Change is going to be happening. It's going to be natural. Our bodies will change, our minds will change, our lives will change. But we don't, to me, have to opt for suffering through it. We can opt to look at it as stretch marks. We can accept the fact that life gives us these challenges to show us what we are made of. That we are infinite, that we are unlimited in every way. And yes, it might poke us at times, it might prod us, it might push us. Be open and available to it, always. This last week, I was also watching one of Deepak Chopra's PBS specials, and it was on food. And it was interesting because he, not only in the nutritional information that he was giving, he was also sprinkling in inspirational gems throughout this message. And one of the things he suggested that you do as you get up in the morning, first thing you open your eyes and you say, how would I like my day to go today? Asking the question, how would I like my day to go? And then you can visualize it, you can anticipate it, you can expect it. But the deeper thing that he suggested or brought forth was the fact that Jesus the Christ told us, ask, and it will be given unto you. Asking the question is critical. Asking poignant questions is critical. So when we ask, a lot of times we don't know the answer. You know, I'll say, okay, well, I think this is how I want my day to go. This is what I'm expecting and this and that, you know. But put it out to the universe and let the universe answer it. Expect the infinite, unlimited universe, God, source, energy, love, I don't know what you want to call it, stuff, you know, being, presence, to give you the answer. To uplift you into this higher realm of consciousness that we all are evolving to, you see. We are all letting go of the past, moving through the present, and knowing that we are evolving into a greater yet to be. So ask the universe to support you. Say, okay, I have my idea, this or something better. It's just amazing what the universe has planned for us. You ever think about that? You ever get excited about, oh my gosh, what great thing is going to happen today? I don't know. Or maybe I'll stub my toe. Yeah, maybe I'll take a spill. Oh, that was the thing I wanted to share with you. I was reading, that's what I was going to tell you. Jeez, got off track there. Daily guide, that's one of the things I've been reading now is the guideposts, daily guide. It's a reading every day. And in that, one of the readings was, it talked about a woman who was looking for a job. And she was discouraged. couldn't find a job, all these no's, I don't know. She's just down on herself. I'm no good, I'm not qualified, or I'm too qualified, or all these things. And she just was feeling sorry and deflated. And so she was going through, like most of us do, we, go through our emails or our Facebook or whatever, and she saw a posting from a friend. And the posting said, "Here's a great lesson from my 5-year-old son, Sam. He just told me that someone pushed him down at recess today." So I asked him, "What did you do?" He replied, "Well, I just bounced right back up." Life pushes us down sometimes. We can have the wisdom of a 5-year-old and just bounce right back up. He didn't have to tell everybody, "Look what happened to me." Didn't make himself the victim, didn't have to make the other person wrong. I bounced back up. I'm doing my life. I'm going forward. Know that pain is a part of life. We can't ignore it. It is there. But we don't have to opt for suffering through it. If you need help, if you need a shoulder, if you need a arm, ask. Ask for help. Ask for guidance from a higher source, from a friend. If you're the friend, listen. Be there for them. And know that you will be divinely guided if what to say comes forth. That God source within you will bring you what you need to say. So just as you go through this week, know that, yes, the bumps, the skids, the scraped knees are part of life. And we're not going to take a picture and magnify it. We're going to live through it, we're going to move through it, and we're going to be stronger through it. Be proud of those stretch marks. And so it is. Namaste.